Hello everyone, this is Satish Kumar. I am here with another lesson for Indian economy. This is my continuation lesson on planning. So, in the previous lesson we learnt about origins of planning and the different types of plan and evolution of planning in India and the organs that are involved in planning in India. In this lesson we are particularly going to learn about the 5-year plans that have been implemented since independence in India. Okay, there have been some 12 5-year plans that have been implemented by the Planning Commission and the central government in India, and we will see each and everything, and we will also learn very focusedly about each plan, what was the target, how it achieved, what was the plan, and we will see everything in detail. Okay. So, see the central plans, that is the plans formulated by the central government, and financed by it, are generally there are 3 such plans. One is the 5-year plan, and there have been 12 5-year plans, and since the present government, the Modi government, has abolished the Planning Commission and have introduced a new organ called Niti Aayog, which is not going for the 5-year plans, rather than it is going to a new step. We will discuss about that, what the new organ is doing. Okay. So, we will see in this lesson the 3 central plans, that is the 5-year plans, and there is also this 20-point program, and there is also the Member of Parliament Local Area Developmental Program. And of course, the Member of Local Area Development Member of Parliament Local Area Development Program also is suspended for some time now because of the coronavirus. Okay, the government has suspended it. We will see each and everything. First, we will see the different 5-year plans that have been implemented in India since 1951. That was the period the first plan started. So, the first plan was between 1951 to 56. It was a time when India was facing severe food shortage, okay, and India was also facing severe refugee crisis, and there is also high inflation. Okay, the inflation is keep on rising, the prices of goods are rising. So, it focused on these areas, that is rehabilitation of the refugees who are coming into India, and it is also focusing on rapid agricultural development and control of inflation. Okay, and this plan gave the highest priority, since India was facing food shortage. It gave the highest priority to agriculture, okay, and irrigation and power projects. And this plan is said to be based on the Harrod-Dommer model of development. Okay, in the economic development there are different models, and this is one such model. As per this model, what the Harrod-Dommer model says is, in order for the economic growth, the rate of economic growth of any economy is based on the level of savings. Okay, when there is higher saving in an economy, there will be higher investment, and this will result in higher growth, rate of growth will high. And it also include other aspects known as capital output ratio. Okay, there should be lower capital output ratio, means the investment is more efficient. That is, when they are investing the money, they should use little money to produce more. Okay, the capital should be, and the capital for the output, that is the between the capital and output, the ratio should be, the capital spent for the output should be lesser. So, that is the second area in this. So, a capital output ratio means investment is more efficient and the growth rate will be higher. In fact, when a country like India, which is not having much capital at the beginning stage, and it is not having a high growth rate, our national income is very less. So in a situation like that, it is important to save, okay, save and invest. And since we don't have too much of money, national income at the hand at that point of time, it is very important that the amount that is spent, no, that the capital that is spent, no, should be efficiently used. So that is why the first model is considered as Harrod-Domar model. Okay, I hope you understand what it is. Okay, Harrod-Domar. Please try to study about what is Harrod-Domar model, because sometimes in economics these kind of models that have been adapted for different plans, no, will be helpful for answering some questions, especially in the mains. Okay, so they may even ask question related to this in prelim. I don't know how much. For example, Harrod-Domar model is based on first 5-year plan. That kind of questions will be very important. Okay, and the person who is architect of this plan is known as is the economist K.N. Raj. Okay, and most of the budget outlay of this plan, no, went to the public sector undertakings. Okay, and this plan was launched India, since India is first time launching a plan with high ideals. Okay, and it set a very minimal target. Since India is first coming up with the plan, no, India was not going for setting a high target. So it set just 2.1% and it achieved 3.6%. Okay, in fact, the first plan is considered as a successful plan because of this reason. Although India did not aim for high, okay, when you aim less and when you achieve something, no, it will be a successful plan. When you aim too much, that is very high, even you achieve great things, since you are aiming for too high and you have not meet that expectation, no, you would be considered as a failure. So India at some point of time set goals like 8%, 10% and failing to achieve that, even achieving 8% growth will be seen as a failure because you have set 10% as growth. Okay, so that is why this plan is considered as a successful plan, and this plan was able to increase the agriculture production, and the food shortage the food shortage problem was solved. Okay. It was during this plan period the community developmental program and the national extension services were launched in 1952 on 2nd October, the birthday of Gandhi. Okay, and this is the basic thing about planning. See, since we have moved from planning to away to a new method of that Niti organization, no, that doesn't mean we should not learn what is about planning, since it is the planning has been part of Indian economy for 65 to nearly 70 years now. No, 12 plans are there, so nearly 70 years planning is there. As a result, we cannot neglect the planning. Okay, our planning is a very important thing for India, and we need to have an idea about what was the planning, how India grow. In fact, all these things will help to understand why India failed to achieve higher growth rate at certain point of time, why India was suffering at certain point of time, why there was financial crisis in the 1970s, why was there were financial crisis in the 1990s and India has to go to the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank for loans, and all these things you will understand by knowing the different plans and what India achieved. Okay, so an understanding of planning is very important. Okay, now we will see the second plan. The second plan was for the period 1956 to 61, and this plan was developed by a person called Mahalanobis, and he believed that in order to achieve long term rate of rapid growth and also long term, it to be sustained for a long period, no, it is essential to spend a major part of the investment of the government in the investment of building heavy industries, and that is basic heavy industries. So he stressed the importance of heavy industries. In fact, this second plan model was there for nearly for another 2-3 plans. Okay. In fact, between 1950s to 56 to 1980, it was this plan that dominated the planning era. And since this plan had inherent flaws with it, we suffered as a result of this. Okay. And in fact, lot of economists criticize this idea of India going for building heavy industries at such an early stage and depriving valuable resources that could have been spent in agriculture and ancillary industries. Okay. We will see all these things. So it focused on investing on heavy industries. Okay. And India, since it achieved a reasonably good target in the first plan, it went for a target of 4.5% for this 5-year plan. Okay. But 4.5%, that is per annum. Okay. But it failed to achieve that. It only achieved 3.9%. And since a lot of money are spent for the industries in this plan period, agriculture was neglected. Agriculture and small scale industries and other industries, agriculture related industries, were all neglected. Okay. So in that area we saw a fall in production. Okay. And as a result, people masses suffered during this period. Although there were development of industrialization which will eventually raise India towards high industries, but since this plan straight away went for basic industries, that is heavy industries, which may not employ much people in that. Okay. And this plan is known as top down industrialization, that is creating big industries which will create a base for small scale industries, and then it will help other village level cottage industries. That is the approach. That is the all around investment in the heavy industries will trickle down to the bottom. And the problem is the trickle down effect will take time. From the top it to come bottom, no, it will take some time. And in this time, the people in the lower segment will suffer. Okay. That is what one of the problem of this plan. In fact, instead of going for basic heavy industries, they should have focused on agriculture and small scale industries during this time, and they should have went for basic and big industries towards the fourth plan. Like that some experts are opining. Instead, at the fifth plan we went for reversal of once again doing the wrong thing. Okay. We will see all these things. Okay. So this plan did not achieve its target, but a basic industrial setup was there, but agriculture was neglected, and because of that the price was rising. Okay. So the third plan was set up in 1961 to 65, and the first two plans, Indian planners believe that we have developed some basic infrastructure, basic economic structure in India, and now we could go for better planning. So it aimed for self-reliant and self-generating economy. Okay. And the first two plan also show to them it is agriculture which is very important for growth, and main limiting factor. If agriculture fails, the price will rise and all of the problems are there, no. So it also paid more attention to agriculture also. So the thing that is missed in the second plan was rectified during this time, but still this plan also focused on industrial development. Okay. That second plan, the Mahalanobis model, that is see the Mahalanobis model I will put a separate lesson on it. Okay, what is that model and how it impacted the economy and why our economy failed to grow and what are all the defects and what is that plan and everything in detail. So basically the Magalhaes model is for the growth there should be heavy industries. For at present you have this idea. I will put a separate lesson on that. Okay. Okay. So this plan was set with the idea of India were going for self-reliant and self-generating economy. But the problem for this plan was India witnessed a lot of unfortunate events. For example, in the 1962, China attacked India and India got defeated in that war. Okay, and in 1965 also we had a war with Pakistan. And there was also a famine at that time during the war of Pakistan and that time. So as a result, this period witnessed too much of problem. Okay, so the valuable resources could not be spent for planning and it has to be used for this fighting war and the famine. Okay, hence due to this heavy diversion of funds, funds to the these kind of situations, this plan failed to meet its target. Okay, and India was forced to borrow money from IMF. Okay, and India has to also reduce the value of its rupee. For the first time, India has to depreciate the value of its rupee. Okay, and because of this result, India faced this kind of situation. The fourth plan could not be started, and hence India went for 3 years of annual planning. Okay, between 1966 to 69, 3 years India went for annual planning, 3 annual plans. Because of the defeat we had with China and our economy is very poor and we have borrowed money and we are depreciated the value of rupee and all these things, we have to go for 3 annual plans, and hence this period is sarcastically called as planned holiday. Okay. So finally in 1969 we went for the fourth plan. Okay, this was between 1969 to 74. This plan was based on the strategy or formula developed by a person called Gadgil. That is why it is called, it is based on the Gadgil strategy. Please remember this kind of plan. I will tell you what is Gadgil strategy. Okay, see, up to 1969, that is the first 3 plans and the 5-year plans, and the 1-year plan holiday, the allocation of central plan assistance, was not very systematic. In fact, it was based on some idea. There was no formula used how to spend. The government planned to spend this area this much, this much, this much. There wasn't been any formula. But in the fourth plan, the Gadgil gave this strategy of spending to how much to how to spend. Okay, this formula was set. So in this formula, population is given 60%. Population while allocating funds, population is if the area has a huge population, that population will account. Okay, then the per capita income is given 10%. Then the tax effort of that state is given 10%, and the ongoing irrigation and power projects in that particular state will also get an additional fund of 10%. Okay, and the special problems that are associated with that state will get 10%. Okay, so this is the idea with the Gadgil strategy, and since this plan is based on this kind of formula, different states got different funds. Okay, and this Gadgil strategy was used for 4th and 5th plan, and it was revised once, and later on in the 1990s this Gadgil strategy was criticized, and as a result we came up with another plan called Gadgil Mukherjee, that is the then Planning Commission Chairman Mukherjee, who came up with an idea which is a slight modification to the Gadgil strategy, and that was used until the end of the 12th plan. Okay, so we will discuss about Gadgil Mukherjee and Gadgil strategy in detail in a separate topic. Like I said, no, the Magalobis model. In fact, I'll try to put a lesson on both these things. Okay, since these three are part of plan, because the Magalobis model was dominating for like 20-30 years, and then the remaining period was dominated by this Gadgil strategy and Gadgil Mukherjee strategy. Okay, so we need to know what is this. Okay, so basically have this idea. Gadgil strategy is based on some formula, how much to be allocated to a plan based on certain criteria. That is the different criteria are given different weightages. For example, in the Gadgil formula, population was given 60%, per capita income was given 10%, tax effort was given 10%, ongoing irrigation and power project 10%, and the special problem of that state 10%. Okay. Again, this plan also witnessed the Indo-Pakistan war in 1971 and 72, and the Bangladesh refugee crisis to India. As a result, huge amount of funds are diverted to that. Okay, and hence this plan was also not able to fully achieve its target. In fact, this plan failed miserably. In fact, we set a target of 5.5%, but we achieved only 3.4%. Also, during this plan, India was also going for industrial revolution, agriculture revolution. As a result, there was also high expenditures, and as a result, there were frequent double-digit inflation, increase in fiscal deficit, huge non-plan expenditure, and this is also the time India went for nationalization, that is taking ownership of private banks like that. Okay, India went for nationalization and greater control and regulation of the economy, and this is the time when India has to open its economy and loosening the control. Instead, it went the other way. Okay, as a result, we are going to suffer for another 20 years. Okay, for 1970 to 1990. Okay, so the target that was set was 5.5%, but we achieved only 3.4%. Okay. So the fifth plan was launched in 1974-79. Okay, and this plan focused on poverty alleviation and self-reliance. In fact, as I said earlier, no, the fourth plan was a huge failure, and there was huge poverty in India. Okay, and as a result, this plan got more politicized. Okay, with slogans like poverty alleviation and self-reliance now. And this time a new plan was also launched called 20-point program in 1975. Okay, we will see separately the 20-point program. This was launched in 1975. Okay, and the inflation was in the double digit. Okay, the hyperinflation, no. So as a result, the government, no, gave a new function to the RBI at this time. In fact, it was during this time the RBI got the function to stabilize the inflation. Okay, because inflation was at an uncontrollable situation, so the government felt that somebody has to take care of it. So it asked RBI to look after the inflation. Okay, and it was during this time there was a huge socio-economic and regional disparities. Okay, despite government taking steps during this plan to solve all these issues. In fact, all the plans that were taken were working against what the government's intention was. Okay, so this time also the nationalization policy continued. In fact, there was one of the biggest problem during this time was huge corruption in the public institutions, that is the executive, the administration, public administration. In India, there was a nexus developed between criminal, politician and bureaucrat who were actually using everything for their own benefit. As a result, whatever the program that the government was doing, that the government are initiating to increase the socio-economic development and removing regional disparities, removing poverty, all these things did not bear fruit. Okay, it was during this time lot of programs were introduced, but they were not yielding any result. Okay, and this period was also witnessed during this time. India, there was lot of protest and emergency. Okay, and finally Indira Gandhi was uh, mm, finally Indira Gandhi was seated and Janata Party came to power in 1977, which actually cut short this plan ahead of before the 1978. So this plan was between 1974 to 79. No, it cut short this plan in the 77-78 itself before 1 year. Okay, and it put a sixth plan in this place. So the fifth plan did not complete it. It was completed only 4 years. So in that place, the Janata government put the sixth plan in 1978 to 83. That is the sixth plan the Janata government planned. But the Janata government did not last long. It was dethroned in 1980, and Indira Gandhi once again came to power. And when she came to power, she abandoned the Janata government plan. Okay, so it only saw 2 years between 1978 to 83. As a result, the then Indira Gandhi government did a novel idea by taking the one year of that 2 year plan to the previous year, and it completed the fifth plan. So the fifth plan is completed, and the remaining 1 year was kept as a Janata government plan, annual plan. That is later came to be known as rolling plan. Okay, the 79-80 period. Okay, that is how Indira Gandhi solved, and Indira Gandhi came with the sixth plan in 1980 to 85. Okay, so it was launched with the slogan of Garibi Hato, alleviate poverty. Please remember this point. So it is the sixth plan, 1980 to 85, during Indira Gandhi time. She came up with this idea. In fact, it was these times the plan became a political tool, and populist measures were used, and lot of funds were diverted for subsidies and welfare programs. In fact, mostly the money spent for non-plan expenditure. That is what I am saying. Okay, see, there is a difference between plan expenditure and non-plan expenditure in the planning. When a plan expenditure, what do I mean by non-plan expenditure? What do I mean by plan expenditure? When a money is spent on plan expenditure, it means it is going to create something productive. That is, it is going to either create asset, or going to create education or healthcare, like that. Any infrastructure, roads, railways, anything is created, it is or industries. So these things, when it is created, it has the potential for further growth. But when a money is spent for like welfare program and subsidies and other things, no, of course those are all also important, since people are suffering from poverty, but too much of money is spent on these kind of activities, no, it will result in wastages of limited resources that were available. In fact, during the 70s and 80s period, no, India did not take care of its resources well. It have not utilized it properly like China did. If India had done like China, India will also today be like China. Okay, in fact, we failed to use our investment at the right way, because of we went for the Maglobis model of planning. We went for too much of welfare schemes. Okay, we wasted a lot of money. Even the welfare schemes were not being used by people, rather than it was uh, appropriated by the politicians and the other business class and other peoples. Okay, it was pocketed by these criminal politician and administration civil servant groups. So as a result, India faced this kind of situation. Okay, so this sixth plan, it gave importance to, again, in creating infrastructure and reducing poverty. Okay, so it achieved a good target of 5.5%, and it also came up with a number of welfare schemes during this time, okay, starting from National Rural Employment Program, plenty of that. In fact, as far as economy is concerned, you have to know some of the important programs of that were being implemented by government. In fact, so some of the important programs that are part of economy history between 1980s, 70s and that time, and recent times, what are all the major programs. We will focus on recent programs, but we will also learn some important. I will put a separate lesson on the government programs later on, which will be very useful. Okay. So these are all plenty of programs. Okay. So the government focus more on socio-economic infrastructure. Okay. Rather than going for physical infrastructure. And India should have went for physical infrastructure during this time. Okay. The seventh plan was introduced in 1985 to 90. So see, India in the 1960s went for agriculture revolution, and it was able to increase its production and have a surplus food grain production. But within 15 years, India in the 1980s once again facing food grain shortage. In fact, there are a lot of population in India, and food grain production did not keep pace with the food raising population. So once again we have to go for rapid food grain production. Okay, and it was during this time the Javagar Rojgar Yojana was launched in 1989. Another very important program, you need to know this. Okay, it was launched in 1989. It is focused on employment creation for rural poor people. Okay, especially youth. Okay, and some of the programs which were created earlier were reoriented. Okay, and though during this time initially, in fact it was during this time, this plan was during the period of Rahul Gandhi, Rajiv Gandhi, and during this period India was able to open its economy slightly. Okay, although not fully open, at least technology transfer was allowed for foreign direct investment, and India was importing a lot of electronics and computer related goods and all other things. Okay, as a result, India has to face towards the end of this period huge fiscal imbalances, also because of other reasons. Okay, and since as a result India opened its economy, and India's balance of payment, no, that is exports and imports. In fact, imports were so high that our exports could not meet the import. We have to face huge balance of payment crisis, and towards the end of this period in the 90s, India was having huge unfavorable balance of payments. Okay, in fact this plan targeted only 5% and it achieved 6%. So it could be called as a successful plan. But the problem was India was facing huge financial crisis. India was not having enough money, foreign exchange reserves, to meet its balance of payment crisis. So by the time of the 1990 ending, when this plan was ended, India was having huge balance of payment of crisis, and at that time some events happened, and by the time 1991 India was having foreign exchange reserves that could meet only 14 days of oil purchase for oil import. So India was facing huge financial crisis. As a result, India has to borrow money in the 1990s. Hence, it went to the World Bank and IMF, and as a result, they asked for India to open the economy. Okay, so please remember this point. All through this period, Indian planning, India focused on self-reliant, self-sufficient economy, and India did not open its economy for others as it required. Okay, and there are reasons for why India didn't open. Okay, so between 1950 to 1990, India was mostly a closed economy. It was during the time of Rajiv Gandhi, slightly our economy in during the 1980s, India was slightly opening its economy, but it was not fully open. Still, a lot of things are under state government. Okay, so you could tell that the 1950 to 1990, the growth was mostly led by the public sector. Private sector played a very little role. All things are done by government. Okay, the growth led India. Only after 1990, when India liberalized and opened its economy, the economic reforms was done. India moved towards the market mechanism and lessen the public sector. Okay, please remember this point. So hence, as a result, since towards the end of the seventh plan, India was facing huge financial crisis. No, as a result, there was also money requirement. We went for bank and other things. So we did not go with the 5-year plan. Okay, so another 2 years there were annual plans between 1990 to 1992. Okay, there were 2 annual plans between 1990 to 1992, and only in 1992 India came up with the 8th 5-year plan. Okay, we will see the 8th 5-year plan and the 12th up to 12th plan in our next lesson. That is the part of after economic reforms. Okay, that will be interesting. Okay, we will also learn what are all the defects of our planning system, that all these things in the next lesson. Okay, please keep watching. Bye.